In this video I have a amplifier of some sort. This is one I just bought for parts. I actually thought it might have been a kit amplifier, but it's actually Sinewave Communications Proprietary Limited made it. Looks like they're an actual company. Model PA60. I think I looked this up online and it was an actual thing. It's just got a 2N3055 MJ2955. A couple of driver transistors and stuff, so it's very much like a kit amplifier. TL071. It's only mono, and I noticed that some sort of, I think there's some wires here. Yes, someone's pinched a pot or something out of it. Probably the input level control, and it looks like it's just really got a mic socket and two speaker terminals. And what's that? A 6.8 ohm resistor on the back panel. And it's got, I think this was a PA output amplifier, 8 ohm and common, 100 volts. So it's actually a PA amp, probably around 50 watts or something. Looks like a couple of these parts have been rather hot. Not sure if that's meant to say something, like something not moving or something. No idea, but I don't think that says VU. It's got one of these little VU meters, MU45 things like Dick Smith and that used to sell. So it's only just like a few dollars for parts sort of thing. It's got a nice toroidal transformer in it. M3060, that sounds like someone's catalogue number. Would that be a Dick Smith number? Possibly. So I thought it's got a nice toroidal in it, nice VU meter on it. PA output transformer, probably not much good for anything. It's got a couple of these, what are they? Is that Lilon or something? Capacitors look very much like they came out of Dick Smith or Pellon maybe. Dick Smith or JCar or somewhere. Someone sold it a random resistor to bypass that one. Possibly to change the value for some reason. Guess we can see if that fuse is intact and see if the transformers and stuff are intact. Yeah, fuse is still there. There's another one over here. So, two different fuses, probably because it's got a plus and minus rail. We could hook a speaker up to where this transformer is. So the output of the amp goes through a 6.8 ohm resistor into the 8 ohm winding of that. It looks like I can see PA60 on the circuit board, so that doesn't look too good. There's a broken pot there, I think. Yeah, I think that trim pot's seen better days, so I might have to take the board out of it anyway. Not that it's necessarily good for much, but at least if I know the parts are good in it. And unfortunately didn't have a lid on it, so the box isn't an awful lot of use, though it wouldn't be able to make up a flat piece of aluminium, I guess, to put a lid on it. So that's the other thing about it. It's got a 19-inch rack case that could be useful for something. I actually bought a slimline one from Ultronics, I think, so this would have been perfect for, I want to make a preamp for that ETI 5000 if I ever get around to finishing that off. This probably would have been the perfect sort of box for it. It does have a few random holes in the front and stuff. Might not have been the most... Oh, this has got standoffs underneath. That'd be right. I should be just taking the nuts off and not taking the screws out, I think. Didn't realise they'd put loose standoffs in there, but not surprising really if it's a sort of home-built job, which this looks to be when you've got the model number written on the back in pen. It's usually a pretty amateur sort of setup. Not there's anything wrong with that, because no reason why they can't make stuff as good quality as anyone else. Seems to be missing. Oh, there it is. One standoff. Oops, transistor's getting bent there. Yeah, I don't really like those heat sinks just hanging in the breeze. I guess this thing wouldn't have been moved around on much or anything, so it wouldn't have mattered. It's a rather homemade looking circuit board too. Does it actually have lacquer on it? I guess it probably has, but it looks pretty tarnished. Almost looks like something I would have made as a kid. A little bit neater, but yeah, not the Most professional thing. Well soldered though, even wobbling those transistors around doesn't seem to cause the dry joint, so it's probably better soldered than a lot of commercial equipment in that sense. Definitely looks hand soldered, not wave soldered, so this would have been a low volume production thing. Whoops. Doesn't want to sit still very well. I'm just trying to avoid disconnecting anything else just while I swap the trim pot out. Out you come. Yeah, definitely lost a leg. Not sure what that's meant to adjust. Hopefully nothing too critical. Someone's cut a wire off there as well. I didn't notice that either. It's a 10k ohm. And of course I just put those trim pots away that I had. So it goes into a resistor, goes up around. So maybe that's to set the bias or something. On the output transistor, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like that heatsink, because that's actually touching. That was meant to go back behind there, okay, and touch that. There's a little TO92 case transistor. I was going to say it's actually touching a resistor and shorting it out, so that ain't very good. Well, I have to say the circuit board's good and solid because it hasn't ripped any tracks or anything. Yeah, once upon a time it would have been worth actually building this sort of stuff because the commercial stuff was so expensive. Let's see if I can hold those two in. Yeah, very fiddly way of building them with these standoffs. You're better off using those brass standoffs that had a screw going each side, or even the plastic ones. Probably cost a little bit more, so they didn't, but you save it in labour. Just screw it to the base and then you undo the screws on the top. I never did it this way because it's just so fiddly. But yeah, those plastic ones with the screw each end, or the brass ones, much better idea. Rather than trying to juggle these loose screws and standoffs. Not a good design at all. See what I mean? Yeah, super frustrating. Not the sort of thing I could be bothered with. Because of this reason, I can't get my hand in there to put it on there. There we go, got the silly things on there. Oh, you sons of... Yeah, really not worth the bother. Whatever small amount of money you save, it would have cost more in labour, surely, to make these things like this. But I won't do them up too much. I probably should have left two of them out anyway, but since this thing will probably end up being used for parts. Oh, I didn't get around to checking the transformer. I should have already checked that before I wasted time. And of course someone's cut the plug off this thing. Naturally. Every bloody time. Because they don't want someone trying to sue them for electrocuting themselves or something, supposedly. Which, you know, if you sell it as is, it's buyer beware, isn't it? But everyone's too scared these days. Let's see if we've at least got resistance there. Let's go to volts DC for some reason. That's a good sign that that's a goer. At least as far as getting some voltage into this thing. We've got that bit of wiring hanging off. Where is it? There. So what they've done, someone's moved the white wire there from there originally. I assume that's a volume control though. was. Transformer made a noise, that's a good sign. I'm not sure where we measure voltages in this thing. And is it grounded? Oh, we've got that socket there, so that'll be ground. 36 and minus 36. So it's about 70 volts in there. So it's a decent rating. So that's quite a useful transformer potentially. I guess if there was DC on the output, it would either blow that fuse or that fuse, or both. So I don't think when we isolated as far as the transformer goes, so the best thing to do is, I don't know why it's got that resistor there, probably something to do with the transformer. So that'd just be ground, I guess. Yeah, it goes to the same ground as this input. Turn it on, let's see if we've got any voltage there. Well, that's just ground anyway, so we don't need to worry about that one. Seems pretty good. So I'd say this is probably a working unit. The question is, what do we got here? I assume one of these is ground. If it's a volume control, that's if it's a volume control. Yeah, the green is ground. Where's the microphone come in? Over? No. I saw it before, over here. So that would most likely be that trim pot. Oh no, the trim pot's for the VU meter. That's why it comes off the output. So we've got a resistor off the output somewhere, trim pot, and that would set the level on this. And that goes to the op amp. Is that resistor cooked there? I think it's okay. Can't really see where the tracks go, but I guess one side's the input to the amp, the other side is the input from the socket and preamp. Now, is that the middle? I think the white one was the middle one. Yeah, according to the old wiring it was. Probably doesn't matter that much. Actually, I can probably mount that on the front, can't I? Just to keep it from shorting out or anything. If I just take the terminals off the back and add blue as the negative, okay. In this case, I think it stands the positive. Someone wasn't too consistent in their wiring. Probably didn't really matter. As long as I got them to the right place, it doesn't reach, that'd be right. So what I should have done, well, since the transformer's disconnected, I can put the blue one back on. And if we can reach the blue wire, which we can, that'll do. As long as I keep the other end disconnected. And of course it's gone all the way back to the socket trying to reconnect to it. Okay, I think we should have a working amp of sorts. Dare I hook a speaker up to it? I guess why not. I do actually have some PA speakers somewhere, but I'm not going to worry about it. Just bypass the line transformer. Ooh. the controls the wrong way around, but that's okay. In fact, it doesn't work very well at all, I don't think. The VU is barely moving there. There we go. Okay, let's hook the CD player up, I guess. Not sure why we've got two connections to the line socket. That blue one seems to be the most active of them. It's not too good without a earth. Distort at really low volume for some reason. Might just be the pot's the wrong value or something. I don't know if that would cause distortion though, but whoop. Oh, we've lost the speaker connection, of course. Yeah, besides a bit of distortion at low volume there, which could be something to do with the wrong pot. It's weird that pot doesn't seem to go completely to ground, so maybe it's a dodgy pot or something, but still don't know why that would cause distortion. So maybe it does have some issue, but basically it's working. Not sure if those transistors should have their collectors out in the open like that, where there's potential voltage on them. Normally you put some plastic covers over them, maybe they're alright. Yeah, no, they're not at any high voltage. Yeah, if nothing else, it's a bunch of good parts. And it's also a working amp. If I can find out the exact specs of that transformer would help. How many amps it's good for. But it looks like a fairly decent one. And yeah, it's probably the first time I've even owned one of those VU meters. It was a mini par. These were the standard panel meters that Dick Smith and the like sold. These MU45s and what was it, MU65s I think the big ones were. Used to cost about $16 or something. They weren't cheap. I think these VU ones are even more expensive, but one of them isn't a lot of use, but still pretty rare you ever saw them on anything. But it's basically some sort of home built thing. Unfortunately, if that was removed, it leaves a massive hole in the front panel. So to be honest, this case probably isn't the most use, but you could put a whole new piece of aluminium over it, I guess, and build something else into this box. But hopefully that transformer will be handy for something, and maybe a couple of the other parts. But at least I know it all works, so I know it's a good collection of pieces there. And even those output transistors potentially, but I do have a pile of 2N3055s. Looks like they're both proper Motorola ones. MJ2955 not so much. But anyway, at least we know it works, so thanks for watching.